Another issue with regulation is how expensive the application of blockchain are. And they are not just those thousands of coin market cap, but it is being extended to secure new tech like AI and IoT that are soon going to surround us. Explaining the fit and need of blockchain in AI and IoT, we have AI India head from Google, Mr. Joinal, who's going to join us here on the stage and give you guys some idea about how AI and IoT is going to help us out in the future. May I have Mr. Joinal on the stage with us? A big round of applause for Mr. Joinal, please.
Good morning, guys. So I'm Joinal. I lead some strategic projects, AI projects in Google Cloud, and what I'm going to talk about today is from some of my readings, what I have been doing, around like when I start to see the world, moving around in new direction. I was thinking, okay, how can I be relevant? How can I be relevant in the new world to Web3, and how the skills that I know, like AI, ML, can be a complementary technology to where we have been going. Right? This is what I'm going to talk around, what I have been reading across several months. Can we have the text, please? Yeah. So we all have heard of these buzzwords, right? AI, IoT, and we'll be trying to see how AI, IoT, and blockchain fit together into an ecosystem, how it is going to change the industry forward, how it is going to create an impact in the industry that we are going to see tomorrow. So there's some numbers, and I just did a quick Google search on how the global market around blockchain and AI is. If you see the numbers, I think 2022 it was just 230 million, but just 10 years it is going to have a CAGR of 24% and rise to 1 billion, right? Just blockchain and AI. And the same happens with blockchain and IoT, right? It rises from 138 million to around 2 billion in this CAGR of 23%. While this number looks small, right? But the factor that it grows, right? It's massive, right? And if you just combine all of this together, right? If you just complement blockchain or improve the IoT driven system, right? With blockchain and then have AI to optimize those processes, you actually see these numbers grow even larger than this. So I'll not go through what AI, blockchain, IoT, blockchain, AI, IoT is, but let's focus on this graph, right? So what we can see is, where we have this lot of IoT devices across, right? Our smartphones, our smart devices, sensors, and all of these, right? While they generate the data, the blockchain system can actually play, to say that how they interact together, right? It actually set the rule of those interactions, and then you have AI to optimize those processes, to optimize how this will play out in an ecosystem, and then it will actually digitize the industry. It will actually make sure that all our systems are secure, are efficient, and also are optimal. So why blockchain, AI, and IoT are perfect fit, right? So this again from the papers that I have read across what people have been doing in the ecosystem. So there are three things that comes. One is data management, where these IoT devices generate a huge chunk of data, right? And there's a prediction that by 2025, only the IoT devices will generate around 75 zettabytes of data. If you look at all these data, right? Blockchain will then ensure that this data is processed smoother in a faster way, because by the use of these hash functions, right, that we have. Right. So we use these hash functions, right? You can actually standardize the data using these hash functions, scale them down, and store them efficiently. Right? Now, once you have standardized data, which scale down, you can also process them well. Right? You'll be able to understand those data well. The second is privacy and security, right? And this is again a big concern for a lot of us, right? That how our data is going to process, who is going to access the data. So which is where again, like, the public infrastructure of blockchain comes into play, right? So it will help you to encrypt the whole data during transit, during rest, It will ensure that who is going to access the data, how they are going to access because of those blockchain-based identities that you have. Right? All of this system would have immutable identity so that you would have a fine-grained control on who is accessing and how they are producing. Right? But another problem that comes with the whole blockchain system is that it is anonymous. Right? There are a lot of things that you cannot track. There are a lot of things that you won't be able to say who is doing what. So which is where AI will come into play. Right? So then the AI will actually the AI system is actually trying to understand, okay, now this is how the processes are happening, how the transactions are happening. How can we look at these transactions and predict, detect those illegal activities or illicit activities? Right? So this is how these three things comes together, and then the result will be, the result the risk of the illicit activities that can happen with the data can be limited when all of these things comes together. Scalability, right? Again, when I said, right, the AI, the IoT system generate around huge chunk of data, around 73 petabytes of data. The scalability of them is hard, which is where again, and if you, there was a paper in 2019, I guess, where a group of researchers were trying to optimize a system of a blockchain-based IoT system using a deep reinforcement learning-based algorithm. So that algorithm then tries to optimize those block sizes, the consensus algorithm that the devices have together. And this improves the overall process by, let's say, optimizing the block sizes, block intervals, how they communicate the algorithm between them, the terms of agreement between those devices. And this is very important. I think this is the most important aspect of these technologies coming together is authentication, right? Via this immutable identities, right? So blockchain has this inbuilt access system or encryptions that is fundamentally different from a non-blockchain based system. You cannot let's say mimic someone to be someone with which is backed by a blockchain identity. So it is protected by design, right? So all your data, the organization, the ownership of the data will be organized. The models that you create, like almost for the whole Web3 ecosystem, right? You can actually verify who is taking the data, how they are communicating with together, and then on top of data, you can actually facilitate that monetization of the data. Right? You can actually have these Web3 currencies to actually verify who they are, pay via those currencies, so that you can immediately verify who is accessing what. And then it enables the security of identity and records, right? Because you cannot actually immute or force those identities. So, and these millions of devices, we are talking to each other, these millions of, let's say, you as an individual is also talking to the IoT devices. So these identities then help you to verify who is doing what and who is connecting to your own network to do those transactions. Tying it up all together, right? So this is how I think it all will play, right? So why IoT enhances the data integrity, blockchain will help you to actually build those decentralized IoT systems that are secure and connected to each other. And then the data, right? Blockchain will ensure that your data is secure, your data is accessed by the right people, the right system, the right machines that are going to process them. And in the whole journey, right, both where the IoT system is generating the data and the blockchain system is actually making it secure and efficient, the AI will make sure that this whole process is efficient, right? The whole, the data that goes through the whole system is traceable. You can actually take a lineage of data, who generated data, who process, how it end up in the destination system. And it can help you to prevent those identity thefts that happens, the data leaks that happens. It will be actually you'll be able to actually have control over it. Yeah, so that's all I had. So I have time so I can take some questions. But yeah, feel free to reach out to me and anyone else if you feel to ask anything. Yes.
Hi Joinal, good morning. This is Anuradha.
Hi.
I am from CRO industry, clinical research organization. Nowadays, after COVID, we know this industry as an industry which provided the COVID vaccines. Okay. So my question is, I'm very basic as a person. What is IoT? Second question, in your experience, is blockchain IoT technologies being used for the data capture in the life sciences industry?
Okay, so it's a two-part question.
Yes.
I'm just trying to repeat it. So understand what is an IoT device or what are IoT systems and how these are being used in an healthcare ecosystem. Right? Yeah, so IoT devices are nothing but, let's say, these edge devices which are connected to the internet. This can be sensors, this can be any device that captures the data and then streams to a central location. Right, so you can think of it as an, let's say, the BP monitors, right, in an ecosystem, the blood pressure monitors, let's say, the glucometers. These can capture the data from there. And IoT is basically Internet of Things, right? So these devices are connected to a central server, where they capture the data, send it there, and the data is processed there. Like I have seen certain examples of the same thing, IoT devices generating the data and using a blockchain-based ecosystem to actually transfer the data from their source to destination to make sure that it is secure, and also to process them in a centralized location, right? So you have this decentralized network of different sensors, different devices that is generating the data, capturing, generating the data, and you use a blockchain-based ecosystem to actually secure the data and transfer it to that location so that it is immutable, it cannot be tampered with, and then at the destination you are processing them to gain the insights of it. Does it answer?
Yeah, pretty much. Because this data management is really important in the industry because
especially in a regulated industry, the PI data is very important. You don't want to expose those persons' health, like personal healthcare data, like my let's say blood sugar levels, my heart rate. I don't want to expose it. Can be a potential risk. So that is where a blockchain-based infrastructure helps you to make sure that these data is not leaked. You have proper authentication of who is accessing, how they are accessing it, and also securing it like in the whole chain.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
How do you see the effect of synthetic data in this congruence? Because there's a lot of rise of the use of synthetic data for AI training and things like that to overcome privacy challenges. That's one question. And since I have you, I'm going to ask you a second question as well. Do you see the storage of all this IoT data on the blockchain itself? Because that is something that not people are doing today, right? I mean, they're using a lot of data being stored off blockchain and just the connections to the data on the blockchain. How do you see that panning out?
Okay. So if I understood correctly, the first question is
synthetic data.
Yeah, synthetic data, right? So again, like synthetic data, while it's good to talk about, I don't personally, I don't see it as much of a value add, because you are actually trying to replicate the data, right? Be a just a dumb copy paste of the data, or let's say just understand the distribution of data and trying to generate data around that space, right? But you're still trying to copy the same data, right? So it will not be a value add over time. Also, it is also because of the inherent biases that you have, right? Let's say if the data, I allocate a data, right? It is based on my understanding, right? And if I train a model just based on that, the model will exactly behave how I perceive things, right? It is not generalized well. And then if you now just generate data out of what I have annotated, you are just enforcing my understanding, my bias to that model over time, right? So versus what we should do is, rather than try to make it, let's say, distributed enough, instead of one have, let's say, a couple of people who are annotating the same data, right? The same data send it to multiple people who annotates them, the multiple agents who annotates them, and then collate them together, so that you have a generalized understanding of how people perceive things. Right? There was a study, again in the healthcare industry, where a sample was given to 10 pathologists to analyze, just count the red blood cell, white blood cell and other things. And all of these 10 people came up with different numbers because they were seeing what they want to see. Right now, if you collate them together and now give the data annotated by these 10 people to that model, then it will try to generalize between these 10 people, right? What is the commonality between all of these people, what they typically see. Versus if you just give the data from one person, it will be biased from that person's understanding of that person's point of view. So, to cut it short, synthetic data is good to have, you can have it to, let's say, just push those accuracy numbers, but your model will not generalize well over time. And the second question was storing the IoT data on blockchain.
Yeah, thank you.
Again, right, storing the data there is again because when you're exposing it out, right? So that is again you have to consider what kind of data you are exposing and the algorithm that you are using to actually, let's say, encrypt the data, right? If it is proprietary, then it is already finite. You can store the data there. But if you again have a large amount of data to capture all of the data from different decentralized locations, it can be difficult over time for you to process. So that is where it is. What I have seen is people use a blockchain system to transfer the data from source to destination while making sure it is secure over in the whole transit. But they don't typically store the data. They store in their own silos.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for answering that. He has another question.
Yeah.
Hi Joinal, I'm Ismail. So my question is, as you said, we will be moving towards the blockchain related data with IoT and AI. So currently, the AI and IoT, if we see, it generates very complex data. And as the usability of those applications, the AI and IoT grows, so in a decentralized environment, the complexity will also grow. So how do we handle that? Like, do we have to handle it based on we will restrict the usability, or we will have any new algorithms to handle that?
Right. So these three works together to complement each other, right? Complement, let's say, each other's good things or cover for each other's areas that are not there, right? So let's say while an IoT system generates a huge amount of data, then you have a blockchain system that backs it out when it has to transfer the data or it has to store the data via this encryption algorithm or hash functions to actually crunch the data down and make it minimal enough to store, right? And if you just have it, let's say, take it as three technologies, then IoT is what generates the data. Blockchain is what puts out the terms of engagement between these devices, how they will communicate, how they will transfer the data, and AI is optimizes the whole process, right? It will tell, okay, this consistent algorithm is not working, do these changes based on how they have been interacting, or let's say it will increase or reduce the block size, those block time modes, so that they can have an effective communication between those devices.
Thank you.
We'll take one more question, the last one.
There.
He also wanted to ask,
Okay.
then you can pass it.
Yeah.
Hi, my question was how AI is going to change the traditional ERPs like SAP and Oracle.
So AI is going to change
How AI will transform the way we used to work in traditional ERPs,
ERP.
SAP or Oracle organization.
Again, right, it is. I would say AI. It is going to basically like how we see things is yes, it's not going to replace or it's not going to. I would say it will not be an overnight shift that someone implements a new let's say intelligent solution and your whole business changes, right? But it would be more like those gradual changes. You can optimize your overall process. Let's say you can start AI to actually let's say change the whole view of how your user sees the product, right? Or optimize your product based on each of the users, understanding how he uses it. So put those right things in front of him versus the whole ecosystem that he sees, right? Which gets confusing user. Let's say I came for a specific thing, but if I have to search for that, go out 10 paths to reach there versus if that system can sense, okay, this is what I am looking for, and it just puts things out, right? So that is how it can optimize. The first thing you should do, or you should rather start looking at is how you can improve the user's experience. I think that would be, and once you start looking at that, then you will actually start making those improvements on our product, right? How you are, you take those decisions on, let's say, how the users interact, what things I should put in front of him, or the data he generates, how can I process and take more decisions, or build more features that is helpful.
Yes, we are done with the questions.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Please,